السلام عليكم. معاكم أمينة علي عبد المنعم working in Mansoura University Hospital and Miss أسماء إبراهيم محفوظ under supervisor دكتورة سامية محمود ودكتورة نجوى نبيه. Today we'll talk about the personal protective equipment. هنتكلم على الأوتلاين، هنعرف الديفينيشن، الريجوليشن and recommendation for PPE, ال PPE rules, the type of PPE used in healthcare setting, the factor influencing the PPE selection, the sequence for doing PPE, the steps to put on a personal protective equipment, the sequence for removing, the steps to remove a personal protective, how to save the PPE and where to remove. The personal protective definition is special clothing or equipment worn by an employee for protection against infectious material. والPPE must prevent from blood والinfectious material from passing through the skin والeye والmouth and the other mucous membrane. Regulation and recommendation according to OSHA issue workplace health and safety regulation. Employee must know provide appropriate PPE for employee. يعني each worker he have to wear protective equipment, special protective equipment. Ensure that the PPE is disposed or reusable, is clean, laundered, required and stored after use. The PPE must be ready, accessible and appropriate for the task performed. The PPE rules, there is rules for the PPE. Each employee should know how to use the equipment, always wear the PPE in exposed situation, remove and replace the PPE that is torn, punctured or has lost its ability to function, remove clothing that become contaminated with blood as soon as possible. Also remove the PPE before leaving the work area. Handle contaminated laundered as little as possible. We have to place the contaminated PPE in appropriate label bag or container until disposed of the contaminated or sent to the laundry. And they have to know where this bag or container are located in the work area. We have to identify everybody about the location of this labeled and bag for the PPE. Factor influencing the PPE section, we have three considered factors for the PPE. Number one, the type of exposure anticipated. Number two, durability and appropriate for the task. Number three, fit. Number one, the first one, anticipated exposure. This is determined by the type of anticipated exposure. زي السبلاش, السبراي, large volume of blood, body fluid, اللي هو PPE selection in particular and the combination of PPE also is determined by the category of isolation precaution the patient is on. Second one, it's very linked to the first one, اللي هي durability and the appropriateness. We are telling for each employee and for each worker he has to wear special PPE. And the PPE need to be fluid resistant, fluid proof, or neither. The third, it is the fit. How many of you have seen someone wearing PPE that is too small or too large? So the PPE must fit for the individual user to prevent and protect the employee. The type of PPE used in a healthcare setting. We are using the gloves, the gown or the apron, the gels, the face mask, the face shield, the foot protection. We will talk about each one, how to wear and how to remove. The first one, gloves. Gloves should be made of water impervious material. Some gloves, its target allergic should be taken into consideration when choosing gloves or other PPE material. So some worker he have allergy from some gloves with this powder So we have to choose what is the type of gloves. If the glove material is thin or flimsy, we have to wear double gloves. Gloves should fit the user hand comfortable and should not be too loose or too tight. So we have to choose the correct size for our hand. You should always inspect your gloves for tear puncture before putting them on, because if there is damage, it will allow for the contamination to go for your skin. So if your gloves damage, don't use. Also, we know gloves don't provide protection from needle stick or other puncture wound caused by sharp objects. The gloves only protect from the blood or body fluid. When you will wear non-sterile gloves or disposable or single-use gloves, with direct contact with patient, mucous membrane, or non-intact skin, when we are handling potentially infectious material or in intact with contaminated items and surface, for performing vein puncture, if the integer of skin on the healthcare worker had compromised also, when there is probability of contact with blood or other potentially infectious material, we have to wear gloves. When we will wear sterile gloves only we are wearing for any procedure where aseptic technique required. Example, intravascular infusion and device. Does and doesn't of gloves used? Gloves protect you against the contact with infectious material. Work from clean to dirty. This is the basic principle of infection control. Limit the opportunity for touching contaminating. Protect yourself or other and environmental surface. When to change gloves? When I will tell I need to change my gloves now. First, between task and procedure on the same patient. Now I am doing task and finish my task, but I am going to do some procedure, so I have to change the gloves, even with the same patient. After contact with material that may contain a high concentration of microorganisms. During procedure, if visible soil torn or puncture, even during use on the same patient, even with the same patient and my glove become contaminated or damaged, I have to change. After contact with each patient. Where I can discard, I have to discard inappropriate receptacle and never wash or reuse disposable gloves. Perform hand hygiene immediately after removing gloves. What is the procedure or how to wear the glove or how to don gloves? First, we will do hand washing. Second, take out the gloves from original box. We have to take the glove directly from the box, not to keep the gloves outside in any service and take from the service. No, you should take from the bag, the box. Touch only restrict service of gloves corresponding to the wrist. After that, done the first gloves. Take the second gloves with the bare hand and touch only restricted surface of the gloves corresponding to the wrist. After that, avoid touching the skin of the forearm with the gloved hand. Interlace finger, and the last step, once gloved hand should not touch anything, and now you are ready for doing your procedure. We finished the procedure and we are going to remove the gloves. How we will remove the gloves? First, pinch one glove at the wrist level to remove it without touching the skin. Second, pull away from the hand, thus allowing the glove to turn inside out. Hold the removed glove in the gloved hand. Slide the finger of the ungloved hand inside between the glove and the wrist. Remove the second glove by rolling it down the hand, fold into the first glove. We will show you the photo for that. This is the steps for removing the glove. finish already, we will discard the removed gloves, and we have to perform hand hygiene. The second one from the PPE types, it's gown or apron. When we want to wear gown or apron to protect ourselves, when we are close contact with patient material or equipment may lead to contaminated of the skin or uniform with infectious agent. There is risk of contamination with blood or body substance or secretion. We have to wear gown in this time or apron. What's the factor influence the selection of gown or apron? First, the purpose of use, if we are using this one as an isolation gown, or the material properties, if also we are using for isolation, we have to make this one either from cotton or from spun, material that indicate whether they can be laundered and reused or must be disposed. Patient risk and the weather clean rather than sterile gown can be used. A clean gown are generally used for isolation, but the sterile gown are only necessary for performing the invasive procedure. Plastic apron, it's a single-use plastic apron, only when used. Used when there is the possibility of spray of spills to protect the clothes that cannot be taken off. If you are going to do some procedure and you think there is fluid will come for your uniform and you cannot change, so you have to wear this plastic apron. Gown used to protect the healthcare worker, expose the body area, and prevent the contamination of clothing with blood or body substance and the other potential infectious material. What is the consideration in choosing type of gown? First, the volume of the body. This means the size of the person who will wear the PPE. Second, the extent and type of exposure to blood and the body substance. Third, a probable type and the route to transmission of infectious agents. How to done gown? First, we will do hand washing. Second, grab the sterile gown and step into the area without risk of contamination. Third, put both hands into armhole. Hold the gown away from the body. After that, slip both hand and forearm into arm's hole and sleeve. Keep hands at shoulder level and away from your body like we are seeing in this photo. Take the gown sleeves under glove scarf, but then piston tie at the neck and at the back like this photo. We finish our procedure and now we are going to remove the gown. So we will start from the last step we applying. So unfasten neck then waist tie, pull the gown away from neck and shoulder, turn the contaminated outside towards the inside, fold or roll into the bundle, discard the roll gown in the appropriate receptacle. بعدين the last step, wash your hands. The third one from PPE types, it's face protection. The selection of facial PPE is determined by the isolation precaution. According to the isolation precaution, we will choose a face protection. We have a mask, goggles, and a face shield, full face. The mask should fully cover the nose and mouth and prevent the fluid ventilation. The mask also should fit over the nose and mouth. The goggles provide the barrier protection for the eye. The face shield may be worn in addition to goggles to provide additional face protection. A face shield will protect against the splash to the nose and the mouth because the blood-borne pathogen can be transmitted through the thin membrane of the eye, nose, and the mouth. Also, the splashing could occur while cleaning up the spill. during a laboratory procedure or while providing first aid or medical assistance. How to don mask? First, we will do hand washing. Second, remove the mask from the box and make sure there is no obvious tears. Number three, determine which side of the mask in front and color side of the mask, usually front, and white side touch your face. You will place the mask over nose and the mouth and the chin. Fit flexible nose piece over nose bridge. Secure on hand with tie or elastic. Adjust to fit. This is photo showing a surgical mask with the ear loops, and the second one surgical mask with a tie band. We finish our procedure and now we are going to remove the mask. How we will remove the mask? First, avoid touching the front of mask. A surgical mask with the ear loops. We have to hold both of the ear loops and gently lift and remove the mask. Surgical mask with the tie band. Untie the bottom, then top tie. Remove from face. Dispose the mask properly in the trash. And after finish, do your hand washing. Remove goggles or face shield. Grab the ear or hand pieces with ungloved hand, lift away from face. Place in designated receptacle for reprocessing or disposal. Wash your hand with soap and water thoroughly. The last type of PPE protection, it's foot protection. A shoe cover may be required depending on text of the exposure risk. And we are using this one in the operation room in our hospital. The sequence for doing PPE. First, a rubber boot and put on overshoes, gown, mask or a respirator, goggles or a face shield, gloves. The combination of the PPE will affect sequence be practical. The steps to put on personal protective equipment. First, gather all the necessary items of PPE before the procedure. Put on a rubber boot and put on overshoes. Third, place impermeable gown over the scrub. Put on face protection اللي هي الميديكال ماسك. Put on الجيجلز or الفيس شيلد. If available, put overhead الهيد cover. Perform hand hygiene. Put on gloves. If an impermeable gown is not available, place a waterproof apron over gown. A sequence for removing the PPE. We will remove first the foot protection, بعدين الجلافز, الفيس شيلد or الجوجلز, الجاون, الماسك or respirator. Step to remove the personal protective equipment. First, remove the waterproof apron and disposable of safely. If wearing overshoes, remove them if your gloves still on. If wearing rubber boots, remove them. Remove the gloves and the gown and roll inside out and dispose of it safely. Perform hand hygiene. If wearing head cover, remove it. Remove the face protection. Remove the face shield or goggles. Remove the mask from behind the head. And the last, perform your hand hygiene. How we can safely use the PPE? First, keep the gloved hand away from your face. Avoid touching or adjusting the other PPE. Removing the gloves if they become torn. Perform hand hygiene before doing new gloves. Limit surface and the item touching. This is the steps how you can safely the PPE. Where we can remove the PPE. Now we finish our procedure and I want to remove my PPE. So I have to remove the PPE before leaving the patient room. Uh, as inside the room I will remove the PPE. Remove the respiratory outside the room. Only the respiratory mask اللي هي ال N90 اللي هي ال 95 for the patient respiratory isolation like TB patient. This one we should remove outside the door. After I will go outside, I will close the door and I will remove the mask outside. Ensure that the hand hygiene facilities are available to do hand hygiene or hand rub after removing the PPE. What type of PPE would you wear in this situation? Going to do giving bed bath. I think nothing, or you can wear only gloves. Suctioning or secretion, we have to wear gloves, mask, goggles or face shield, sometimes gown. Transport the patient in wheelchair, nothing required. Responding to an emergency where blood is spreading, we have to wear gloves, fluid resistant gown, mask, goggles or face shield. Drawing blood from vein, we have to wear gloves. Cleaning an incontinent patient with diarrhea, gloves and gown we have to wear. Irrigation wound, we have to wear gloves, gown, mask, goggles or face shield. Taking vital signs, no need to wear PPE. PPE for expanded precaution. Expanded precaution includes three: contact precaution, droplet precaution, airborne infectious isolation. For the contact precaution, require gloves, gown for contact with the patient or environment of care. In some instance, use this PPE is recommended for even if you will enter the patient environment. For droplet precaution required to use a surgical mask and the airborne infectious isolation requires the only respiratory PPE worn as we are wearing N95 for the airborne isolation patient, and for the airborne isolation patient need to be negative pressure isolation room also required. This is our reference and thank you.